Okay, so here I want to show a sample marketing plan. It's more like a detailed outline. I'm not taking you all the way there with all the text that you would need for a marketing plan, but we are going to take a look at a little deeper into an outline of what a typical plan is with an example. Bluebell ice cream, right? It's the best ice cream I've ever had. It's based in Texas. They distribute primarily in Texas and the southern United States, I should say. And let's say that um, they're anticipating distributing further west and they want to start a YouTube channel. So that's going to be my marketing plan. I'm going to be specific to YouTube in this marketing plan. It's not a business plan. I'm just going to stick with YouTube and what we're going to do to optimize that. So let's take a look at what I might put in that plan as an example for our final project in our digital marketing strategy class. So first, let's take a look at definitions, right? So executive summary. This is your executive summary, your elevator speech. It's a concise rundown of a problem and how it will be solved through YouTube videos, right? If you had Tim Cook from Apple and he could fund your ad and you were going to spend a minute in an elevator with him, what would you say to him to get him to support your ad? So that's the executive summary, the elevator speech, right? With situational analysis, we're going to look at examples right after this. It's an overview, right? You're going to go talk about the demographics, the target market. You're going to talk about the specific marketing effort primarily, but you do a little bit of a big picture, and I'll show you an example of that. You don't want to get lost in the weeds here. You want to keep it focused on the YouTube channel strategy that you're making the marketing plan about, right? So strategy answers the following question. We are creating a YouTube channel and producing video, and it seeks to do what, right? That's what you want to answer, right? You want to tell the person reading the marketing plan why you're creating the YouTube channel and what will happen out of it. The goals should be specific performance indicators. They should be key performance indicators, right? Related to that specific marketing effort. Like with YouTube channel, how would you know you succeeded? We'll look at some examples on that in a minute. The value proposition is actually tied into strategy, and I question whether or not to actually put this right after strategy, right? So where does your value proposition intersect with the platform you're using, such as YouTube, right? And how do you communicate that? What's your message about what you do better than anyone else? And finally, we'll take a look at tactics. What ways will we use YouTube? I have a little typo there, and its messaging, and as it relates to this specific plan. And how do you advertise that product or service? So let's take a look really quick at those. On the left side, I put the definition, and on the right side, I put what I would put. So Bluebell primarily serves the southern United States, and it's expanding, and it wants to get into social media, and it's brand new for them, right? They're old school in terms of marketing, and this is a new thing, right? But they want to drive traffic to their website. That's a great executive summary. It states the problem, and it states the solution as well and how it will be solved. With a situational analysis, I talk about what Bluebell is. It's a specialty artisanal ice cream, right? And its focus has traditionally been on a limited geographic market and how it's considered old fashioned and how breaking into social media will help it bring in a new part of the marketing mix, right? And I might talk about how ice cream sales are up during the pandemic, maybe, since we're in that right now. I might talk about how distributing it farther will mean more sales and how much to the bottom line, but I would bring it back to why YouTube and what the target market would be. So here, let's take a look at the target market. So the target market for them, let's just say they've done studies, and in your plan for the class, you don't have access to a lot of this. You can fictionalize this a little bit, but please keep it within the realm of reality, right? So let's say that demographic and targeting studies show that Gen Z is a good target market because you've got tweens and teenagers who will talk to their parents about getting ice cream. I think it's a good one. They watch YouTube primarily, and what kind of content could you create within that target market is the next question with strategy and tactics. So let's take a look. Um, the goals, oh, well, here, see that's basically what I was saying here is that Gen Z consumers are the highest subscribers and reaching out to them could make a difference. I forgot I had two slides here, but this is an extension of the strategy. When we look at the goals, we want to look at specific performance indicators related to that market. So what I'd say is something like this, like a successful campaign will result in a 10% increase in subscribers to that YouTube channel month over month, right? I'm putting real numbers to it, and it's within reality. It's specific, it's measurable, it's attainable. We're going to talk about SMART goals this quarter, and that's an important thing to do. And you want to have goals that you can meet, but they're maybe a little bit of a stretch, right? And how you're going to review the metrics. So that's the discussion and the conversation you'd have in your plan there. Value proposition I was talking about earlier. And the way we look at value proposition, I gave you a Mad Lib, basically a formula for creating a value proposition earlier in the quarter that we could take a look at. And when we're looking at value proposition, you want to look at it primarily from the customer's point of view, but where the company and the collaborator being YouTube sits. And what does YouTube offer Gen Z and Bluebell that would create a good messaging that makes you different than Baskin Robbins, than the local ice cream store down the street, than Ben and Jerry's, right? You would want to take a look at something like this and go, what makes us different, right? So that's the value proposition. In terms of tactics, you'd want to take a look at what ways you'll use YouTube video and its messaging as it relates to that specific plan, right? So mainly we'd want to probably take a look at brand awareness, some kind of incentive, and how we communicate our message there, right? Incentive could be like contests that you do for people that create ice cream creations at home, for instance, and tape it and put it up on YouTube, right? That kind of thing. But mainly you want to get brand awareness. That could be your stated tactic, right? In terms of implementation, it would just be a couple paragraphs talking about your video production and how that might look, right? And how long that might take. How do you plan on getting this done? That's the implementation. It doesn't have to be long. I wouldn't say that this is a focus of your plan, but it should have an element of it. In terms of control, control is really all about the schedule, the metrics that tell you whether you were successful, and the budget, right? So control looks at how we measure the effort. So with this, I would say that you would put a schedule in like, hey, it's going to take us this long to actually make the videos. We need to create the channel and the artwork for the channel. We're going to be doing a quarter, let's say 10 weeks of video once a week, every Friday for 10 weeks. And this is how we're going to track how well we did. And we need this much money to do it. It's as simple as that, right? So, and how do you control that budget, right? So you're going to do bids, you're going to make sure that they keep within the money they said they would, and this is how much we're spending on ads. I'm not sure what your plan might be, but control has to do with real ways in which to stop spending or to make sure you were successful, or here's the schedule. You might put that project management Gantt chart in there that would show how things are done. And again, this is not as big like the implementation as the strategy and tactics and your explanation of the target market, but this is part of the marketing plan for us. And then finally, exhibits, right? So for something like this, I might put a typical video script, right? And I might do like just a rundown of what a typical video might look like. It would only be probably a couple-minute video, but I might do a little description about what it would be. It might even be a storyboard. You could also probably do a mock-up with what the artwork would be for the YouTube channel. You could show demographics that show how Gen Z is watching YouTube far more than Gen X, their parents, right? Or millennials, who might be their parents as well. That kind of thing would further prove your point. So that's what exhibits are about. You can include samples, marketing data, or industry data, and it would just prove your point and help bolster your argument. So that's the sample that I was talking about. If you have any questions, just contact me by email. Thank you so much.